Y'all know when Latinos and Hispanics be like black Americans are next? They really thought that black Americans are immigrants. And that explains why they voted the way they voted. They try to get us up out of here. But I gotta say to the Latino community, not only did your ESL classes, but the American educational system failed you tremendously. Because black Americans are not immigrants and we're not going anywhere. And this is how ill-informed they are. They really think because they're in the middle between black and white that they're white adjacent, when that's far from the truth. It's only 3 categories that's broken down in this country. You have white Americans, you have non-whites, and you have black Americans. The people in the middle, y'all just extras in this movie. The main characters are the white Americans and the black Americans, and sometimes the Native Americans make a guest appearance. This country spent too much money, trillions of dollars, in painting black people as the bad guys. That's the default, to even get rid of black Americans, as sad as that may sound. And you know who's catching on quick, who's learning the game real quick? Africans and Caribbeans. That's why they're cosplaying as black Americans. They're not cosplaying as black Americans to trick us black Americans. They're doing it to trick white Americans because they don't want to be deported.
So now some Latinos are mad after finding out that black Americans, especially those whose ancestors were enslaved in America, are not immigrants and can't be deported. I watched the clips and I got something to say because this conversation is way deeper than people think. Let's watch these clips. All credits to the owners. We come back with more commentary.
So I'm gonna throw my head in this too and just say that I agree with all of the black creators that are saying that all of these other folk thought that black Americans were immigrants, and that when they was voting for Trump, they thought that we would be deported, and that does have something to do with why they keep saying that we're next, because they don't quite understand that we are not immigrants. Okay, the last time in American history that they tried to send black people back to Africa, okay, was in the 1800s. Okay, this was after emancipation, when they were like, hey, you know, those of you that want to stay here, y'all can stay here, and then those of you who want to leave, here's $100. That's what they gave them at the time, was $100, and y'all can leave. Okay, and some of them went over to Liberia, and some of them went to the Bahamas. The Gullah Geechee went to the Bahamas. Okay, some of them, not all of them. A lot of them still sitting in Charleston, still sitting on the Sea Islands right now. Okay, so I think they didn't understand that. I realized further that they didn't understand that when they decided that the community they was going to come to ask for support in this here immigration shindig was the black community, when we know the absolute least about immigration. Like, we don't even know anything about it. We don't know how the laws work. We don't know none of that. We don't have any experience with it at all. At all. Our families have been here since like the 1500s. we don't know nothing about the shit. Okay? And our families have been officially Americans since 1863. Like, we have nothing, no information for you. We don't know anything to tell you. Okay? And we are also protected by law. We are protected by the Constitution. I don't think they understand that. We are literally protected by the Constitution. Okay? So it made no sense. It didn't make no sense. But I agree with what y'all saying, though. They did not know that. I don't think they quite understood or knew that. And then also, when it comes to black immigrant population, per the data from the government statistical data, 4.5 million of immigrants are black. 4.5 from African and Caribbean countries. Okay? So I would estimate their population, guesstimated at being, including their children, I would guesstimate it at being no more than 15 million people. Out of a country of 300 million people, there's only 15 million of them that are black immigrants or first or second gen. Like, they ain't even on their way to like 4, 5, 6 gens yet. So, okay. Don't do this dumbass shit again if you think that it's gonna be black people. Okay, if you think it's gonna be black Americans, don't do this dumbass shit no more. Have a good day.
Okay, let's break this down. A few Latino influencers and social media users are going viral right now, upset, angry, even shocked because they just learned that most Black Americans are not immigrants and therefore they can't be deported. Some of them are saying it's unfair. Some are saying Black folks act like they own the country. But here is the truth. Black Americans are not in America by choice. They were brought there through slavery and their roots run deeper in the land of America. That's not immigration. That's stolen labor. That's forced history. And you can't deport someone from a country that their ancestors helped build. Okay?
Latinos have to be more delusional than J-Lo thinking she's really Selena to believe that Black people can be deported in their own country and that Black people are immigrants.
Are you people insane? What are you talking about?
Through my short tenure on this app, having conversations with people throughout the diaspora and people from around the world, it has come to my attention that many do believe that Black people are actually immigrants in the country that we hail from. This is why we get hit with, where are you from? And when somebody says Georgia or New York or Detroit, they're like, no, where are your parents from? And I'm like, New York. They don't get it. And it's like, you arrived here as an immigrant and you think America is a white country. America's never been a white country. America has always been a multi-ethnic country in which white people have been the majority of. Never been a white country. So you don't look at a Black person or a Native person and be like, oh, you're really American. That's just the reality of this country. We'll always say the only real Americans in this current iteration of America we have are white people, Black people, and Native Americans, because those three people have been here since before the inception of America and during the creation of America. Everyone else came after. All the other European immigrants came through Ellis Island. The Italians, the Polish, the Jewish people, the Greeks, all of those people are later additions. We've been here since before all of them. So how can a Black person be deported? I would implore you to actually know the history of the country you're living in or trying to occupy, and before you speak to someone who is actually a descendant of the people who have been here since the 1700s, do better. Do better. This is a sad attempt at you trying to force my hand to support Latinos because of what's happening right now. I do support everyone, but to say a comment like this is dumb because Black people cannot be deported because we're from here. Now, can other Black immigrants be deported? 1,000%. I have family that can be deported because I have family from all around the world, but I'm American. But that's a different conversation in terms of identity politics and how Afro-Latinos or Caribbean or Africans identify in this current phase of America. Latinos are the ones that are being targeted right now. Asians are the ones being targeted right now. And Latino people have a history of anti-Blackness and a history of colorism within their community. You guys are racist towards your own dark-skinned people, your own Black people. So you have to stop looking to Black people for like unwavering support, and then in the same sentence be like, well, you're next, or you're ghetto, or you're this. And it's like the underlying tones of racism and threats that you guys put in your messaging aren't helping your cause. They aren't helping your cause.
The teenage over this truth shows a misunderstanding of American history. It also shows how sometimes oppressed groups get turned against each other instead of realizing they are all being played by the same system. Yeah.
5 American facts to break an immigrant's back. Black Americans did not immigrate here. We were trafficked through chattel slavery. The first Americans arrived in Virginia in 1619, not as immigrants, but as chattel property under violent colonial rule. No visa, no port of entry, no green card. Only forced labor, rape, and death. That's it. Black Americans were here before most white, Asian, or Latino immigrants. Do your history, do your research. 1865, over 4 million Black people had already lived, worked, and died in America before the majority of European, Mexican, Chinese, or Caribbean immigrant waves began to come here. Source, U.S. Census, 1860. Black Americans are the only group whose citizenship was legislated. The 14th Amendment, 1860, was written specifically for descendants of American slaves, not immigrants. It granted legal citizenship to Black Americans. who have been born on U.S. soil but treated as property. Source, U.S. Constitution, Congressional Record, Civil Rights Act, 1866. Black Americans fought in every American war before many groups were ever even allowed in America. From the Revolutionary War to the Vietnam War to Iraq, foundational Black Americans have fought, bled, and died to defend a country that doesn't even consider us human. I hope you guys understand that our blood is spilt on the land of America. Fact number 5, to break the immigrant's back, to break the ignorance of immigrants' mind, okay? Most Latino immigration was not legal until 1965. 1965? The Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965 removed the racial quotas that had previously blocked non-European immigration. That means the majority of Latino families didn't enter the U.S. legally until the 20th century, while Black Americans had already been here for 400 years. 400 years. So I'm saying that to say this. I think that one of the biggest problems that we have in both communities is we don't have knowledge of who each other are. And I believe if the Hispanic community had more knowledge of who Black Americans actually are, they would automatically have more respect for us, right? They don't know who we are, so they don't respect us. I don't know if that's to blame them or the government, but something's got to change. And that was 5 facts to break an immigrant's back.
Let me say this clearly. This is not about hating on Latinos. But if you go to America and don't know the difference between Black Americans and immigrants, educate yourself before you speak. Yeah. Deportation threats don't apply to people whose blood is in this land. And if you are mad about that, maybe ask yourself why that fact makes you uncomfortable. Some of these reactions are rooted in jealousy or anti-Blackness, and that's dangerous. They should be breeding themselves, not beefing over who belongs there. Yeah. And for anyone who says they are all immigrants, no, they are not. Black Americans are foundational, not visitors. Yeah.
I'm so glad we had the conversation about Black Americans not being immigrants, because I learned so much about how immigrants think about us. Like, I always had that knowledge of, like, they were propagandized by America to think that we were lazy and criminals and all the worst things a person could be. They said that Black Americans were. But I never paid it no never mind, because we all conditioned by this country. It's Black Americans who think that too. Everybody in this country is sick. Some of us just realize it and some of us don't. One African sister got on here and said she did think that we were immigrants. And the reason why she thought that was because of the term African American. When she thinks about, like, different types of Americans, like Italian American, for example, those people came over on Ellis Island. She thought that African Americans at one point immigrated here. I don't know how she married that with slavery, but that is what she thought. The term African American got her messed up. And I understand that, but I still, because Italy is a country, Africa's not. So if you were to say Italian American, that pinpoints the place where the person immigrated from. But we said African American because we don't know. Africa's a whole continent. If I was Nigerian, I would say I was Nigerian American. So while I do understand their point of view, I still find it to be very anti-Black. And also, that's the reason why I'm not calling myself African American anymore. I'm Black American. That's it.
We are not going to argue about facts. Black Americans are not immigrants, period. They are citizens by birth, by blood, and by history. Yeah, that's it. So what do you think about this conversation? Is it ignorance, hate, or just a lack of education? Tell me in the comments. Drop your thoughts in the comments, but keep it respectful. And if you are new here, hit that like button, subscribe, and come back for more video talk. I don't hold back. Yeah. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for the love and support. I really appreciate, and I love you so much, guys. I love you so much. So catch you next time. Bye.